It is 6:15 and we've been invited to Zurich by Breitling. Oh, I need to wake up. London City Airport is a weird one. It's in some ways one of my favourite airports, similar to Hong Kong Airport where it feels like you're going to land in the sea. This airport is right in the middle of the Thames, so it either looks like you're going to land in the Thames or you're just going to overshoot the runway. It's pretty cool in that respect. Everything else about it is pretty crap, to be fair. I haven't yet seen the watch that's being launched. I know it's a Navitimer and I know it's a Cosmonaute Navitimer, so I'm pretty excited to see what they've come up with or how they've taken inspiration from previous Cosmonaute Navitimers. Either way, it should be a fun day out. I'm traveling light today, which is quite nice. I've just got my Sony A7 Mark IV. I've got the 1635 G Master f2.8, and then I've got a Leica Q2, and that is all I'm shooting with today. Plus, I've got a whole load of batteries, ND filters, SD cards. But apart from that, that's literally the only kit that I have. It's nice being compact. Just been in a massive presentation with Breitling, and so story time. Back in the 60s, during a space race, there was a chap called Scott Carpenter. His family are here, well, his daughter and two sons are here, and told us stories about his journey of becoming an astronaut. He was chosen to be part of the Aurora NASA mission. There were lots of elements to this mission, lots of experiments that this mission was to carry out, but there was a big emphasis on weightlessness. Things that I guess we take for granted now because we know the answers, but back then they didn't know the answers. These guys just wanted to find out, could we eat in space? Could our body digest food in space? And what happens long term after a human has been weightless? One of the things that Scott was in charge of was the operation of this mission, and a big emphasis is on timing. And so Scott already had a Navitimer, but it wasn't quite right. He wanted to make a few adjustments, and so he spoke to Breitling. He needed the watch to be a 24-hour watch, not a 12-hour watch, for two reasons. In space, it's not easy to tell whether it's 3 AM or 3 PM, and so a 12-hour watch is pretty pointless. But also, he needed the watch to be the redundancy of the main dash clock, and that clock had a 24-hour dial for the exact reason of needing to know what time of day it was. Other modifications were the bezel. He didn't like the bezel. He needed the bezel to be something that he could operate with thick leather flight gloves on. He also needed the dial to be more simple and easier to read. So he asked for the tachymeter to be removed and asked for the slide rule to be simplified. He also needed the watch to be worn over his spacesuit, and so for that reason it had a stretch metal bracelet. Breitling made all of these adjustments, and that's when the Breitling Navitimer Cosmonaute was created. They had to call it Cosmonaute despite the fact it was going to an astronaut, because the word astronaut had already been registered as a trademark, and so they had to call it Cosmonaute. The mission was a short one and was labelled as uneventful so far as it went to plan. That was until the end of the mission, the return journey, and that's when stuff kind of went wrong. Basically, to return back to Earth, the capsule had this essentially what was an autopilot system. It was supposed to take them back to a predetermined landing position in the sea, and then they were going to be picked up by the US Navy. The autopilot system failed, and so Scott had to manually control the capsule back down to Earth, and he only had control of, I think it was pitch. Basically, he didn't have full control, so he wasn't able to directly aim it at where the capsule should land, and ultimately it landed 200 miles away from its original position. And for an hour, the US Navy had no idea where Scott was. After a massive search, they found him bobbing around the ocean. His capsule landed on its side. He managed to climb out this tiny little hole and open up his inflatable life raft, which was upside down. He had to flip it over. All of this pissing about in the water, and then him getting found by the frogmen of the US Navy. All of that messing about meant that water had got inside the watch and destroyed it. Annoyed about this, Scott sent this watch back to Breitling. They created a new version, sent him this new Navitimer Cosmonaute, as well as all the other people involved in the mission, and this broken one seemingly disappeared. It was then later found in a drawer and has been presented to the public, and it is It looks more of an art piece, a dial now. Heavily rusted. It was handed over in the presentation by this fake astronaut. But this is the first Swiss wristwatch that's been in space. And although it looks a bit odd now, that's a pretty cool piece of history. To celebrate the 60th anniversary of this watch going to space, Breitling has launched this, which is a new Navitimer and heavily limited. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the time this goes out that all of them have been sold, because there's only 362 of them. But this is the new 2022 version of the Navitimer Cosmonaute. It still has that 24-hour dial. The layout is ever so slightly different. The bezel is still the improved design, which has the better grip around the edge, but this time it is in platinum. The case back is sapphire crystal, so you can see the in-house B02 movement, which is a special movement to display the 24 hours, and it also has the 60th anniversary engravings on the bridges. At the end of the presentation, like all presentations, there's a Q&A session, and someone asked, is this a direct attack on, they asked it in a nice way, but it sounds quite aggressive, is this a direct attack on Omega and their dominance of the whole watch and space stuff? George Kern, as cool dude as he is, says that we're not attacking anyone, we're simply telling our story. But to be fair, that sounds like a very PR-y answer, but I think anyone who launches a watch that is space related has to be stepping on Omega's toes, because Omega is, you can't argue, they dominate the whole space story. And so this, no doubt, is that. Previously, one of the stories that these guys spoke about, there are loads of experts, both from Breitling and then just collectors, talking about the transition of how Navitimer became so prominent after the Navitimer being the first watch in space, and that naturally becoming part of the PR that could be shared. Sales went up over 600%. They say about 600 to 700% was the increase in sales of the Navitimer. So it's very clear that space is a big seller. Omega kind of proves that point with how hard they push their first watch on the moon. So it doesn't matter what the motivation is with regards to watches in space. Anyone who does it has to be taking away from Omega. This watch is obviously heavily inspired by the vintage, by the original watch that had gone to space and the original Navitimers. Not much has changed with the design. It's a very classic looking design, whereas the Speedmaster is, although not much has changed with their design from the original, I feel the Speedmaster is much more of a modern looking watch, or perhaps it's more of a timeless watch. With this watch being limited edition, this isn't the news. This is the launch event. At the end of the presentation, they did say, watch this space. So no doubt this is the limited edition. This is a celebration. I'm guessing, they didn't say, but I'm guessing that there's going to be a production version coming soonish. Guys, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this watch. Not that you're going to be able to get it, because it's probably already gone. 362 pieces is tiny for a company as large as Breitling. So I think the more interesting thing is, what are they going to do next? If you want to check out watch straps and watch accessories, jump over to barkandjack.com. If you're on Instagram, give me a follow at barkandjack. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.